Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Richard Muglin, and welcome to the second weekly watch list for December 2019. So, over here, all the flagged items are going to be the new stocks that I'll be looking at, but a lot of the setups from my past weekly watch list are still good. So, if you haven't watched that video, I'll be linking it below. A lot of these stocks are still setting up nicely and have great fundamentals, so make sure you check that out. To start with, we'll just be looking at the charts for all of these, and then I'll be going to my fundamental ranking scale and looking at what their fundamentals say about each of these stocks. And I'll also be linking the top 400 down below, so if you find that useful, feel free to download that and check it out. So first, looking at AMRN, you've got a really long consolidation period. You can see that going back to October of 2018 almost, it's kind of been stuck in this sideways movement. And there's a lot of volume coming in, and I think if it can break through this kind of 24.54 level, this could really take off. ANSS has been doing really well relative to the SPY these last couple weeks, and is just now consolidating a little bit. Had a bit of a shakeout on Tuesday of last week, but now it seems ready to keep on moving upwards. APO is kind of trending higher and just kind of broke out on this past Friday on above average volume above this kind of 44.37 level. So look for a continuation pattern here, and this stock has really good fundamentals. ARWR is just now setting up again after a huge run up. This is a very volatile stock, so be aware of that and manage your risk accordingly. But you've got so much volume coming in here, and it's been doing probably the best stock that I've been watching this entire year. So it's up 400+%. So if you want to find a stock that's going to double, find one that's already doubled. That's kind of Darvis's mantra. CDW is just had a green dot on this past Friday, had a Bollinger Band bounce 2 days before that, and I would look to see it climb over this 138.79 level and break through this resistance. CRUS just kind of broke out this past Friday and had a green dot as well on above average volume, and I would look to see it continue that on above average volume again into early next week. EPRT is consolidating and tightening up on this right hand side after a big run up of about 28%. So you just want to see this keep tightening up and then move upwards on above average volume. JBL is also in this sideways consolidation and tightening up on this right hand side. You had a big shakeout on Tuesday, as a lot of growth stocks had, but then it rebounded very nicely and finished the week extraordinarily strong. PRFT is really tightening up on this right hand side, and while it's pulling back a little bit, you can see that the volume has been a lot less than the normal 50-day average volume. REPH had really good EPS last quarter of plus 70%, and it's just kind of consolidating that move right now with kind of some sideways action, but you can see that it increased 46, 50%, so it needs some time to take that into account and consolidate and then build another setup, and I would want to see it kind of move past this 18 level. So this is kind of a cheaper stock, and it's kind of a low float stock as well. So always keep in mind that these can be a lot more volatile. And finally, the last new stock is Gibraltar, and you can see it had really good relative strength last week because on this Tuesday, a lot of stocks gapped down, but instead it broke out, not broken out, but it had a green dot on above average volume, and now it's continued that for 3 straight days. So it's showing very good relative strength, and you'd want to see it just increase above this level on above average volume. So looking now at AMRN, you can see it's number 46 on my ranking scale. IBD has pretty good rankings except for EPS. Last quarter, it had an EPS change of 117%. The quarter before that, 120%. So a triple-digit growth name showing very good strength. It also had sales up last quarter of 103%. Its ROE is not good, and its margins are marginal. But overall, a pretty good stock, good EPS, and also sales. ANSS is ranked very well by IBD with some really good composite and relative strength numbers. Its EPS change the last few quarters is not good, but its return on equity is really good at 21%, and its sales are bumping up 19% last quarter. It's also got really good margins of 35.4%, and over the past few years, it's had really good margins as well. APO is ranked 88th on my list. It's got really good EPS change the past few quarters. You've got sales also having a bump up of 36% last quarter, but its return equity is not good at negative 0.7. However, its margins are very good. ARWR, as I've covered in the past, is number 6 on my scale currently. Its EPS is really, really good. Its sales is having a huge bump up, and its return on equity is very good at 39.9, and you can also see its margins are very good as well. CDW is number 155 on my list. It's got okay EPS the last few quarters. Its sales are bumping up 12%, so not fantastic there, but its return on equity is really, really good at 81%, but its margins are just around 5.1%. CRUS is number 117 on my list. It's got very good IBD ratings. Its EPS rating last quarter is very good at plus 44%. Its sales aren't really moving though, and it has a return on equity of 14.1% and margins of around 24%. EPRT is number 93 on my list. It's got really good IBD ratings with an EPS rating of 99, which is very, very good. Its EPS change isn't dramatic, but it's very consistent. Its return on equity is not that great at 4.2%, but its sales are experiencing a big bump last quarter of 41%, and its margins are very, very good. JBL is number 102 on my list. It's got really good IBD ratings. Its EPS is growing at 26% last quarter and 24% the quarter before that. Its return on equity is very good at 24.7%, and its sales is also getting a little bump as well of 14%, but you can see its margins are not that good. PRFT is number 156 on my list. It's got really good IBD ratings. It's got pretty good growth in terms of EPS the last 2 quarters. You can see its sales are getting a bump of 17%. Its return on equity is pretty decent at 14.8%, and its margins are okay at 12.4%. Now at REPH, you can see it's got okay IBD ratings except for EPS, but it had a big EPS change last quarter of 70%, and you can see that its sales are experiencing a bump as well. However, it does not have a good return equity or margins, as you can see. And finally, ROC is number 252 on my list. It's got pretty good IBD ratings. It's got good EPS change last quarter. Its sales are bumping up a little bit, 7%. Its return on equity is okay at 12.4%, and its margins are around 10.4%. So overall, that is my new weekly watch list for this week. Let me know down below what stocks you're watching, and if you want me to check up any stock, just let me know and I'll reply to your comment. So thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys in future videos.